The cordyceps virus infects its host and waits. Over time, its potential for devastation erupts, and the host is used as a platform to spread the virus further. Its successful development breeds spores that are sown through the air, travelling by wind, and again infecting another host. An outbreak can be as devastating as wiping out a colony of 1 million ants, or 60% of the world's human population. When a person receives the virus spores, it is a process of murder that takes from the host every day. Initially, the subject will lose their higher brain functionality and will revert to a hyper-aggressive set of instincts. With this first stage, they lose their humanity, but still await a painful death. The fungal growth spreads outwards from the brain and over the skull, damaging the visual cortex and blinding the host. To compensate, the host will learn echolocation, a form of visualizing the environment using sound waves. Further growth occurs and the fungus surrounds the body, creating an armoured plating, locking them within their biological curse. At this point, the victim serves only to spread the virus further. If the victim survives, albeit mindless and suffering, their furvish aggression will spread their condition on through penetrating contact like bites and open wounds. Victims that die suffer extreme growths that allow stalks to ascend above the ground and release spores more effectively into the air. From these spores, it is impossible to hide. The chaos began 20 years ago. People became frenzied and insane, attacking anyone in sight. They were grotesque, violent, and ultimately doomed. As each infected lost their humanity, the virus spread across huge distances, spores trapped in the open wind. As each civilization became infected, inhumanity and panic set in, and there was no rest. Whilst the species of man decayed, abundance of plant life and foliage emerged over the graves of old and valueless technology. Highways and skyscrapers, once the pinnacle of human pioneering, serve now only as a symbol for the loss of civilization. Organic materials spread over the carcasses of old vehicles and up the sides of the modern ziggurats. Humanity attempted a response. Medical efforts failed, with international groups unable to procure a vaccine that could save people. Many now resort to rudimentary protections to defend themselves from inhaling the spores, and the American government has initiated martial law to stifle the chaos. The military took over, organised quarantine zones to defend those who are not infected. Any attempts by hosts of the virus to enter are euthanized immediately and mercilessly. A group of anarchists rises. The Fireflies claim to fight for freedom and spread propaganda that the leaders are tyrannical and unjust. They initiate assaults on the quarantine zones in acts of defiance against those who rule them. Every day is a struggle for survival. Those who remain plan their journeys to safety, hoping to scavenge food and water along the way. Factions and gangs group together in an effort to survive, going to extreme lengths in their desperate attempts at life. Looting, mugging, murder, and cannibalism become commonplace among the hunters and bandits who discard their humanity to increase their chances of surviving. The fortunate survivors are either dragged through these changes or left behind to perish. Those that adapt struggle onwards and learn when to sacrifice their morality. Compassion is never lightly rewarded, and for many, ruthlessness and barbarism blossom. Joel was a loving father in his late 40s, who worked in construction as a single parent for his daughter Sarah. The tragedy of the widespreading infection hit him personally, along with hundreds of millions of other Americans. Compensating for his loss of family and society, he retreats emotionally, learning ruthlessness and instinctual survival elements for his own sake. Now he deals in smuggling and contraband within the apocalyptic wastes in the Boston area. His business dealings earn him enemies and friends alike. A woman named Tess earns his respect by sharing his philosophy and outlook on the state of the world. Their relationship appeared to have blossomed beyond friendship, but in these conditions nothing good survives too long. Their respect lingers on, and they work well together. Eventually, a deal goes bad, and Tess and Joel are caught out, losing a lot of supplies now in the hands of the Fireflies. In exchange for a return of all that they owned and lost, the leader of the Fireflies offers them a simple trade. All they must do is deliver a package to another group of Fireflies in Washington, DC, and their supplies will be returned. When the package is revealed to be a girl, the journey changes to a dangerous escort mission. The package's name is Ellie, and her attitude affects Joel. He respects and pities her mature, selfish attitude, and her vulnerability begins to remind Joel of his own lost daughter. They discover that Ellie is infected, and that the army is chasing after her. Joel decides that he will continue to help her reach the Fireflies, but time is running out. The small rebel groups of Fireflies are slowly being extinguished by the Marshall government, forcing Joel and Ellie to chase in an effort to end their journey safely. They bond, slowly and carefully, neither of them willing to rely on the other and accept the challenges forced upon them as a team. Joel is reminded each day of his daughter and is forced to accept his loss and move on, and Ellie begins to trust another person. They witness intense violence together and aid each other through injuries, but underneath the virulence and danger, a love blossoms.